Greetings, brothers and sisters. Hello and welcome back to Eva's House of Spirit. I'm Eva, and today I want to do a little bit of a video that is dedicated to and inspired by the Lady Gravedancer. So earlier today I was having a conversation with a friend. We were talking about all sorts of really cool, metaphysical things. And this friend of mine happened to mention that they recommended Lady Gravedancer's money oil. Now, from what I understand, I think she has a few different recipes for money oil, so I'm not sure exactly which one my friend was referring to, but my friend was basically saying like, hey, her shit's the real deal. She knows what she's doing. He was saying if you could use a little help in your situation right now, because as some of you may have heard, I have lost my job. My friend was basically saying, if you could use some help, maybe try to get your hands on some of her oil. So I decided to go to her channel, and I was looking at her videos in reference to prosperity advice or workings or tutorials, anything like along those lines. And I happened upon a video that is titled Bring Me Money and Success Spell. It's actually like a tutorial how to make a particular money oil. Again, this is only one of her probably many recipes for money oil. And I'm going to have it linked in the description below. I really liked what she put into this oil. It really sounded solid, and being that my friend was like, hey, her oils and stuff, like her oil really is good. So taking that into account, being that my friend had said that, and being that from what I have seen and what I understand, from what I have heard others say, obviously I feel pretty confident that the Lady Gravedancer's work is like really, really good. So I was like, okay, let me make this. But the problem was there are certain things that I didn't have. And so I thought I would make this video to share like some of the substitutions that I came up with. First of all, the recipe, it calls for myrrh, but the problem is I don't actually happen to have any myrrh incense resin. So what I do have is benzoin gum. And I took some time to look into the properties of benzoin because I wanted to see, well, could this possibly be a good substitution? It turns out that yes, benzoin was a good substitute for myrrh, because from what I have come across in my double checking is that benzoin gum is also good for prosperity as well as consecration and other things. So for the myrrh, I substituted benzoin gum. Her recipe also calls for Catholic Church dirt. That is also something that was a problem for me. Long story, but I can't get to a Catholic church. They're kind of a little bit removed from where I'm at, strangely enough. I probably could use dirt from some other church, but also I have to be very careful because where I live, it's very like low crime. The cops have like nothing to do, and I really don't want to have a cop roll up on me like, hey, what the hell are you doing when I'm collecting dirt, from the church grounds. So I was like, let me just play it safe, and let me maybe do like an herbal substitution. So what I came up with to substitute for the Catholic Church dirt, because that soil, it's essentially holy ground. I thought to myself, okay, I need some sort of herbs that are very, very pure, very consecrated sort of herbs. So I opted to go with two herbs in place of the Catholic Church dirt: some yerba santa and some hyssop, hyssop. Hyssop. How do you say that? Hyssop or hyssop? Most people, I think, say hyssop, but anyhow, yes, yerba santa and hyssop. Um, for sandalwood powder, she did say if you have sandalwood incense, you can just kind of grind that up. What I used, I actually have red sandalwood Tibetan incense. These are incense sticks where there is no wooden stick in the middle. It's just pure, like, incense. So I took like 3 or 4 of those and ground them up, and I used that. Now, she used grapeseed oil as her base oil for this. I don't have grapeseed oil, and where I'm at, it's kind of expensive, and I really have to watch my spending right now. But what I do have that's not a strongly scented oil that I have a lot of and that would work for this, I have soybean oil. And if you think of the association of soybean, first of all, it's a bean. There's that associated color of green, because it has this, like, to me anyway, this association of, being a crop, the soybean. So then you think of bounty, abundance, things growing, that vegetation and life sort of like bounty association. At least to me, that's how I view the soybean. So since that's the oil that I had, I decided to use that. And where I got soybean oil, it's actually marked as vegetable oil. I got it at Walmart a while ago before I lost my job. And if you read the label, it's just soybean oil. So I was like, okay, I'm going to use soybean oil instead of grapeseed oil. Now, when I counted how many ingredients she had, including the oil, it's 9 things. Let me see. Let me just double check that I'm actually being correct on that. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, there's 9 things, including the oil. And I'm referring to not just the herbs and resins, but also the pennies she put into what she made into that oil. There's 9 actual ingredients, including the oil. But see, when I did the yerba santa and the hyssop in place of the Catholic Church dirt, it then brings it to 10. So I was like, damn it. I like odd numbers, first of all. And second of all, I was like, well, I'd rather it be 11 than 10, because at least 11 is a master number. And 11, in my perception, it symbolizes to me like 2 pillars that mark a threshold, like a gateway, like a new beginning, a new opening, things coming in. So I decided 11 would be a number I would like much better. So I had to add 1 more ingredient. So in my version of the Lady Gravedancer's Money and Success oil, I will also be adding, I'm still in the process of making it, I will also be adding 5-finger grass. So again, my substitutions: in place of myrrh, benzoin gum; in place of Catholic Church dirt, some yerba santa and some hyssop; in place of sandalwood incense powder, Tibetan incense powder, basically the Tibetan incense ground up; in place of the grapeseed oil, soybean oil; and the additional ingredient in my version would be 5-finger grass. Everything else, I did the same, but I did run into one problem. Now, I'm making my oil currently. I only had this teeny tiny little bottle. Pennies are not going to fit in here. This thing just has too small of a neck. And I was like, oh, damn it. Most people would just say, get another bottle. But I didn't have another bottle or a jar, with a lid that I felt confident would be, oil proof if I happened to knock it over or something, or just from shaking it up. Like, I didn't want it to be leaky and stuff like that. So this was the only bottle I happened to have. It's actually a little tiny bottle from when you buy like Patron tequila, but I changed the cork stopper for one that's a little more secure than the one that came with it. So anyway, I'm like, what do I do for the 4 pennies? Well, I had these 3 teeny tiny keys that are made for, they're made as jewelry charms. And I was looking at them, these 3 little teeny tiny keys. They look silver, but I don't think the camera's going to pick it up. But in reality, some of that silver is actually coming off. I don't think you can see it. Maybe I can include a picture at the end of me talking about these. Some of the silver is coming off. These are actually copper underneath. There's these 3 little ones. And then I also had this bigger sized key that is gold toned that I bought at a Botanica like years ago for, I guess, doing like maybe spell workings and things. The reason why I opted for keys rather than pennies is A, they would fit into the bottle, and B, I like that these 3 are copper and this one is a gold tone. You have the legitimate copper and then the suggestion of gold, the symbolism of gold, the symbolism obviously of the keys that open the way to allow success and money to come in. So that's my way around not getting 4 pennies into this teeny tiny bottle. Now another thing as well that I did differently, I did have an empty candle jar like this, and so I put together my herbal and resin ingredients first. I did put, by the way, 4 pennies in here because, you know, they fit in here. And they're actually pennies out of my money pot, which is here. Yes, it is a Moscow Mule mug. I bought this a while ago when I still had a job because it's copper. It's copper, so that's good, you know. And basically I have like lucky green rice in here, and I have like a really big magnet, and there's like some seed money in there, and whenever I find change I like throw it in here. And I also did Dr. Keone's, there's like a money thing. He has a video here on YouTube. I'm going to link it below. He did a thing where you heat up your money to attract more money. I did that with the money that's in here. And I'm gonna have that too for you. But what I did is for my 4 pennies, I took them out of here. And the reason why I did that as well is that truthfully, I can't remember what year, but truthfully, pennies with the most copper in them are from before a certain year. I don't happen to have really old pennies at the moment that I could find. So I was like, well, let me just use the pennies that I charged and heated up and worked with for my money pot, you know? So I used those and I put 4 pennies in here. And now the reason why I kept some of the mixture from Lady Grave Dancer's oil recipe in here, besides putting some in here, is that if anytime I want to do some other spell working, I can use these prosperity herbs on candles, in mojo bags, in baths, in like anything I need to do. You know, I have a stash now of the herbal mixture from the oil that she showed the tutorial for. And the little pennies in here add that charged element. And yes, of course, I did do as she said. You know, I put my intention into each ingredient, whether it was going in here or whether it was going in here. I'm thinking because this lacks the ingredient of the oil, so that would make this then, actually, wait a minute. Hang on a second. How many ingredients would that be? That might actually be 9 by itself because I did substitutions. Let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, this one because there's no oil. This is 9. So I don't have to do anything to this actually. This one, I've got to put my keys in, put my intention as I'm putting the keys in, and I'm going to add some five-finger grass. And then I'll just finish filling it up with some oil, at the end. And I'll probably pray over the whole thing before I let it sit for 3 days. But anyway, yeah, so I'm just making this little video to talk about some substitutions. If you need to come back and watch the video again and take little notes, you can do that, after you've gone and watched the Lady Gravedancer's video on her money and success oil. And I do recommend checking out Dr. Keone's tutorial on like how to heat up your money to attract more money and all that. I forget the title of the video, but I'm going to have it linked below. I have both of those videos for you below. So, if any of you are kind of in the same boat as me, doing some work to help out your finances, I hope that this video is helpful. And blessed be Ashe, you have a great night, and until our next exchange, you stay awesome, and bye-bye for now.